Hey everyone, so we're going to take a look at Solana today and take a look at the key levels both above us and below us and see if we can decipher a market direction for where we want to go next. Solana was one of the new players in this altcoin space in this bull market, and it's definitely a coin that is on everyone's radar. It's made a massive parabolic move up, and so far we're basically just correcting this massive move that we've made to the upside. Now, marking out the key levels, we're currently holding support at that $80 level, which is quite an important level for Solana. And if we just bring up these lines over here, we can see that we spoke about this price consolidation that we saw last August in 2021, which is the, small pause in price before we basically completely topped out at $250. And this price action, whilst it is supporting us at the minute, I don't think this is a very strong level of support for Solana. And I do think that it's more likely that we'll eventually probably break down from this, in my opinion. And there's nothing at the minute to suggest that there's any sort of reversal pattern for Solana. Because, like I said, when we get these massive expansive moves to the upside and we get these pauses in price for like a week or two or three, if we come back and revisit those levels, we can pause and create a little bit of consolidation, but typically the lows will, in my opinion, form at much more relevant prices, which is the price action between $57 and $20. So somewhere in here is where I would imagine that we see some sort of bottom eventually for Solana. They're the key levels both below us, okay? And if we look above us, we called this one pretty nicely, right? We said down here at $80-90 that we expect Solana to move up to about maybe $120, $125, $130, $135, and we've got exactly that, where we had this move back in January and we got this rejection and then created a lower low. So like I said, the market structure at the minute is still telling you that we're in a downtrend. We so far are not exactly forming some sort of consolidation, okay, or like accumulation. That's not exactly what I'm seeing. You would have to give this a little bit more time to play out. But if we come up and we retest that 120 level and then we start to base out here, okay, this definitely could mean it's some form of accumulation to move back to the upside. But the levels above 125 are somewhere about 155, and then we've got this massive band of resistance at about $200. And if we bring up our VPVR, you can see that really confirms those key levels that we mark out. They do typically get hit quite a lot of the time. We've got this low volume block over here at 123 where we've got rejected from, another one here at 155, and we've got this massive void over here below us, where I imagine that if we do break 75 and crypto does move into a phase lower, that we'll probably slice through this pretty quick because there's not a lot of support here, and the next level of support that I'm seeing is somewhere around $55, okay? It's important, in my opinion, to call out what you see and try to be objective of what you see. And what I'm seeing in the minute is basically lower highs, okay, here, and lower lows, okay? So we're in a systematic downtrend on Solana, and it is, to be honest with you, one of the weaker coins at the minute. In the same way that Cardano at $1.50, I was screaming, this is not yet a buy, wait for some sort of confirmation or reversal, because this looks like one of the most horrible charts, in the space. And until anything, changes, this is, this is the bias for the trend, right? Is that, like I said, we're creating lower lows and lower highs. And the first signal for you to basically start reversing your bias, okay, and start looking for long entries, in my opinion, okay, is a break of about 122. This can potentially give us some sort of springboard to create a maybe higher high, come down, retest some levels and move higher. But until that happens, okay, you need to know that the bias is to the downside. We're currently below all of the key Fibonacci moving averages, both on the daily, as you can see here, and the weekly. Okay, so we're below all of them, and currently you can see that we're getting rejected from a lot of these. So this does show me as well that, similar to a lot of other altcoins in the space, that there is at least some considerable weakness to take note of. If we look at the key momentum moving averages that we like to use, which is the weekly 21, you can see that once we broke below it, Okay, we've been below it ever since. Okay, and on the daily, we've actually used this as a nice little indicator that whenever we've reached this level, we've usually hung around this for about a day or two, a week or so, or got close to it, and we basically got rejected, you know, on multiple occasions. So, you know, just be aware that that's exactly where we are at the minute. We are above it, sort of holding it for a few days or so. So maybe we can get a bit of a push higher, but just bear in mind that this has happened before. And the good thing, or the way that I like to use moving averages, is it shows you areas of value for either kind of like going long or short, and it sort of gives you an idea of, you know, how the trend is looking. If you're a holder of Solana and you're bullish on the project, drop me a like down below. That massively helps me and the channel. Obviously subscribe to keep up to date with all the videos, and let me know down below, okay, where you think Solana's headed and what do you hold. Like I said, it's really interesting for me to find out in the comment section, you know, what your opinion is on Solana. And without further ado, let's crack on with the video. Now, Solana is a coin that I'm looking to add in areas of value, but like I said, for me, I'm looking for clearer signs of either some sort of reversal or some sort of accumulation pattern for me to add into, or to add into areas of massive value if we get there. And, you know, to be honest with you, I would probably say to you that probably about 70 to 80% of all the predictions that we've made on the altcoins on this channel to the downside have got hit. You look at AVAX, Luna, DOT, you know, Ethereum, and, you know, a lot of the other coins that, you know, that they typically tend to get hit. And at the minute, whilst we are, I can't argue with you that we are in an area of some value with a 65% decline, a lot of the altcoins typically do give back at least like 70, 80%. And where does that put us? At about somewhere this order block over here at $50 or so. And you know that I speak about order blocks. So the way that I'm looking at this is the down candle, okay, the down move before the up candle that broke market structure is somewhere at around $40, right? And I think this area would be an ultimate area of value to be buying into. So somewhere in over here would be excellent for Solana, in my opinion, and that would still actually maintain the integrity of you know, higher highs of market structure should we get here. So I think that's a really nice place to look out for, is that, you know, somewhere here would still create a higher high, and that maybe we create a basing pattern if we do move down here and, you know, do something like this, okay, reaccumulate and then move higher. I think that would be a really nice move for Solana, because like I said, there's still a lot of uncertainty in the market, with Bitcoin showing in my opinion some weakness, which will probably lead the market. So I just want you to, you know, watch out for that when you're you know, looking out for these altcoins. A reminder that technical analysis gives you the probabilities to put in your favor and gives you the edge in the market if you can read it properly, but it's not the be all and end all, and there is no certainty. So that's why I say, you know, somewhere at these levels at 65, I can't argue with you for adding to Solana, especially if you're someone like me who thinks that Solana is going to go to like $400, $600, $800, $900 and beyond, and it's going to make new all-time highs, okay? You just really want to add into areas of value and dollar cost average in. And like I said, somewhere at this price range, at you know, that around that $80 mark, somewhere in and around where we are at the moment, isn't a bad time to add in, even though we are in a systematic downtrend and we don't have any signs of reversal. But below that is, like I said, anywhere between like, I think 56 to like, you know, $30 in that box. I think if Solana does go there, I think you're probably obligated to buy, not financial advice. And that's where you make the real gains, if you stick around, okay, and you're able to buy at these lower prices when there's massive pain in the market. Something else that I wanted to draw your attention to was the weekly RSI for Solana, which at the minute is below the midpoint of about 50. And usually on a lot of coins and in a lot of markets, when you lose that mid-range and you start to, you know, loiter at these lower levels, it typically tells you that the bias is to the downside and that the trend is down. So you can see that we held the 50, you know, back in May when we had this massive run up, corrected, and then basically had our second leg up to 250 back in November. But at the minute, we've basically broken this midpoint and trading down below, trading down lower, okay? So just potentially look out for some sort of oversold, you know, area to buy into for Solana. So if we reach like say 30 or something like that, I would imagine that would be close or close to or near the bottom, you know, should we get there. But you know, there's no guarantees, but you know, these are definitely markers that you want to be looking out for. Now, taking a look at Solana Bitcoin, I think there is a reasonable amount of weakness here to give you, an idea that we still might have a little ways to go to find that bottom for Solana, because we broke this key level over here that we spoke about in the past at about 25,000 Satoshis over here, okay, and we broke down, and essentially we tried to retest this area through all of February, got rejected lower, and valuations versus Bitcoin are, definitely downtrending. And the next area of support to look out for is going to be this area of consolidation, which looks really similar to that pause in price when we moved up, at the back end of last year, and that's coming in at about 15,000 Satoshis. So if we do move down from here on Solana, that would be about another 20%, maybe even 30% move before we get some kind of retracement and move back to the upside. And if we do move below there, then definitely potential for us to trigger and test some of these lower regions at about 10,000 sats that I've marked out in these this box in green below. So yeah, those are the two key levels to look to the downside, and until we basically get above this red band that we've broken down from, that I marked out, and maybe we can come up here and reclaim, unless you see this, okay, and then we can start to push higher and we see something like this, then I don't think there's any reason to suggest that Solana is going higher anytime in the future. But like I said, those are both the scenarios, both to the upside and to the downside, that you want to be looking out for. But like I said, just maintain that bias, stay grounded, and just buy into those areas of key value that we always speak about. Hope you enjoyed the video, you got some value out of that. Like the video if you have not already, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you can stay up to date with a lot of the daily videos that I'm trying to pump out with on all the altcoins, to keep you up to date and on the right side of the market. Until the next video, I'll catch you in the next one.